on today's Mega News. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and most importantly, hide your siblings. Because the Blue Zero himself, ViA, has become a hunter program in the DiVE for Rockman-X DiVE's 2nd anniversary. We're also going to recap the DiVE news for March, then we'll end things off with some merchandising, manga, and preservation news. Stay tuned for all that in today's Mega News Roundup. Let's rock! Howdy folks, I hope March has been treating you well. We are back at last with another Mega News Roundup, coming to you from the ShadowRockZX YouTube channel and the MegaManNetwork.com. As always, our main topic for today is Rockman-X DiVE, but you may have noticed that this Mega News comes about 3 weeks after the previous one. Why is that? Well, it's hard to make a Mega News when Rockman-X DiVE, the guys at Capcom Taiwan, are not putting out trailers for their new updates. Granted, it's mostly been filler for the last couple weeks, but with the exception of today, which is why we're having a roundup, it seems like Capcom is more busy with promoting their Steam version on their Twitter than doing anything else. For example, on March 9th, we had another retweet campaign on their Twitter page, but due to the fact that their Twitter fan base isn't as big, and then there was also the backlash from the previous event where everyone was pissed that Capcom didn't give everyone the rewards but only the Steam users. Yeah, this retweet campaign did not pan out the way they hoped. If I'm doing my math correctly, they didn't even hit the 3,000 mark. Ouch. And this was even after the promise that all of the main rewards would go to everyone, regardless of your platform. However, if you're on Steam, you get the extra 300 medals. Well, that was a bust. So what did they do next? They abort the mission and flee to Facebook. On March 16th, they tried again with a 2nd anniversary support event. And it's the same deal. A certain amount of likes and shares results in rewards. Although the rewards for this one is actually quite a bit more generous. We have patches, a nice amount of elemental medals, and finally, if they reach 10,000, you just get Ultimate Armor X for free. Just like that. Or for those of us who have them, just put it towards your ranks or your DNA codes. Even though Ultimate Armor X was the very first DiFest character, so he is essentially 2 years old now, it's still a limited character that they gave out for free, and that makes it very interesting. And yes, I'm talking in the past tense because, yeah, the goal's already been met, the rewards have already been sent out as of today. Clearly, it has been proven that the DiVE community on Facebook is quite a bit larger than it is on Twitter. That and they haven't done an event like this on Facebook in quite a while. So if anyone on Facebook wasn't following the goings on Twitter, they probably have no idea about the fiasco that happened with the Steam only rewards. This time for the Facebook event, like past ones, everyone who posts their player ID and nothing else in the comments of the post will get the rewards. And that way it's Facebook only. But really, it can't be that hard to make a Facebook account and then just make the comment. The only questionable thing about asking players to post their player ID in public is that in the past it has enabled some malicious users to log into your account by abusing the system just off your player ID alone. And that's never a good thing, and quite honestly, from our understanding, fixing the issue would require an almost complete rewrite of their login system, so it's probably never going to get fixed. So with that safety issue in mind, we do recommend that if you're going to participate in future Facebook events, at least wait until the very last second to post your ID in there. Definitely be careful who you give your player ID to. Anyway, getting back to the main point, aside from that journey with the campaigns and the Steam ads, there has been a distinct lack of trailers and really any posts talking about content coming that week to the game. At least on the Twitter page. The Facebook page still posted a few things, but no trailers. And it becomes odd when you consider that we just had a level cap update. We've gotten up to level 180. And that added a whole bunch of stuff like it usually does, like the new story chapter based on Grenade Man stage from Mega Man 8, which is where we got the face reveal for the third OC villain, Erato, whom I will just call Era. And oh dear, DiVE definitely knows their target audience. With these 3 OCs, it seems like they're kinda playing towards a weird fetish, and it appears they're hitting on the MILF category with Era's design here. I don't want to speak on it more than that, but this isn't even the only sick fetish that DiVE has introduced that we have to talk about today. Oh gosh, what a strange mess of a game. But anyway, getting back to the news. The level cap update of course gave us a hard mode as well, a new chip in Magna Centipede which allows you to get a speed boost when you attack with a weapon. Wow, that's pretty good. 2 new bosses were added to boss challenge mode, including Magna Centipede and Magna Quartz. And finally you have the level 170 armor and the new co-op stage which is based on Squid Adler's stage from X5. Or Volt Kraken, you get the idea. Which then brings us to the end of the gate event from a couple weeks ago. Last week we had a filler week with a limited weapon, the Grudge Axe, which is awesome because not only does it seem to be based on Mino Madness from Mega Man Zero, but Massimo, our good boy Massimo, finally gets a weapon that fits him. This is our first axe looking weapon in the game after 2 whole years. It sure took long enough. Now where's our pistol weapons? Axe will need some love too, you know. In addition, we had a rerun of ViA's deep log training as a bit of a foreshadowing to this week's event. Although we didn't need that because the story chapter already hinted at the fact that they're going to have ViA as a hunter program, and then we're going to have an event that's all about unlocking him as a hunter program. Because although they want to rescue Era from the Sigma virus and recruit her as a hunter program, and that was the whole point of the story chapter up to that point, no, we gotta have ViA as a hunter program first, or we can't go after Era, or something like that. DiVE's story is such a mess that even I can't keep up with it. So yes, we had the rerun of the first ViA event, coincidentally the one where Eco was first introduced. That's hilarious. And then finally, we had the guild boss for X6 Sigma. So we're pretty much caught up on reruns of raids now. And you know how the Sigmas from the past guild bosses hit like a truck? This time around they must have heard the complaints or something because Hell Sigma got nerfed quite a bit. He still hurts, but not really as much as he used to, even in his original raid appearance. And that just makes it easy enough for you to just sit there and spam pizza cutting, or any of your other skills really. As long as you have a way to heal, which one of the boss bonuses gives you that anyways, you're typically just fine. And so you can ignore everything and just pizza cut away. What a well-designed boss, just like the original. Lastly, before we get to this week, the most recent development is that they have started running another Dark Code coin banner. They're giving us 30 coins every day. And on top of that, we get a free pull on the Dark Code banner every day as it's active, plus a free pull on a Rico and Eco focus banner, which has the same odds as a DiVE Fest banner since that's the actual theme of it. So if you're lucky, you might get some incredible odds off the single pulls there. I find it interesting that whereas the global version Mega Man X DiVE likes to do free 10 pulls, Rockman X DiVE is content with just giving us free singles, but I think that goes more to show how desperate Global is more than anything. Finally, that brings us to this week. As was promised via the foreshadowing the last couple of weeks, indeed, ViA is our 2nd anniversary character for DiVE. Technically, this isn't his first playable debut because he was already playable through the Monster Hunter event a while back as Hunter V. But this is the first time we've gotten his base form as playable, and it's obviously him. Now, for a lot of people who are kind of from the outside and not really paying attention to DiVE's storyline so far, you're probably going to look at this and say, hey, that's pretty cool. He's basically a blue Zero. He's got Red Koha. He can use Shipuga in the air as well as Red Koha. That's pretty cool. His voice is pretty cool. Wait, he has a voice? Where's that been this whole time? I guess he finally grew a mouth. But yeah, from an outsider's perspective, you look at this and say, okay, that's pretty cool. There can't possibly be anything wrong with this character. Well, allow me to be the one to be the party pooper here, because there is a fatal issue with this character from a story perspective that has cropped up very recently. And I'm going to apologize in advance to you guys because, you know, I like to keep it positive when I can here. And I apologize to LBD Night Train of the Mega Man Network because I always try to keep it PG here. But this is one point where we're going to have to talk about another very, very sick fetish. And it's caused by none other than ViA here. You see, throughout the entire story of Rockman X DiVE up to this point, ViA has been oogling the looks of Rico and Iko by extension right in front of them. He's like that one older creep in an anime group that may try to hit on all the women. The most recent example I can use for this is during this year's Valentine's event, when ViA kept pressuring Iko to put on the Valentine's costume. And once she did, he basically was salivating at the dang mouth over her, going awooga and stuff like that. Now, on its own, it's fine, I guess. It's really creepy, it's very uncomfortable, but okay, I guess. That's not very different to what you may find in some animes. But then the actual issue of all of this comes into the picture when you watch the next story event that the game has, where ViA, Rico, and Iko are talking about the fact that they're all siblings. ViA, my guy, are you freaking kidding me right now? You are over here talking about how you're all siblings after you just got done salivating at the dang mouth over their freaking Valentine's costumes. What the heck, bro? That is just beyond messed up, disgusting, and completely unacceptable. And I don't even care if they're siblings in a way that they're not actually related, but they just call each other siblings. Dude, no matter the context, you just don't call someone your sister or your brother and then proceed to lust after them. Siblings deserve way more respect than that. And that's coming from myself who has siblings of my own. I would never pull that crap on them. So you can imagine why this issue hits home for me. Honestly, when Quint and I put 2 and 2 together while we were going through the storyline on the stream, all my enthusiasm for ViA as a character, and even the game as a whole, just went down the drain. And it was already pretty low, to be honest. It's not the best game. But still, the fact that they stooped that low just made me want to quit the game right there. Should I even continue covering this game? Well, what I can say for sure right now is you guys can call ViA cool all you want, but I'm not going to. Even from the very beginning, it felt like Capcom did not know what they wanted to do with ViA as a character. The whole reason why he's cool is he looks like Zero. In the early story chapters, whenever he made an appearance, he was just reenacting scenes that involved Zero from the X series. Like the time Zero saves X from Vile, or when he sacrifices himself to stop Vile. And then you have the whole thing about how we all thought ViA was supposed to be a villain. He even has that alternate face that looks really messed up and evil. All the boss characters are like, dude, are you gonna do the thing yet? Are you gonna go evil? And ViA's like, not today, Zerg. And this was all before the 3 OC villains showed up. Like, we all know that ViA is hiding something, But even after 2 years, we still don't know exactly the full details of what that is, and now it's been pushed aside because of these 3 OC characters. Maybe we'll even hear more about it in this upcoming story event, but I'm not getting my hopes up, and I'll be honest, I just don't care anymore. At this point, I hope ViA follows after Zero's footsteps and just dies. Seriously. Anytime we see this dude on screen in the story now, it's just very uncomfortable. And this is a stain on the dude's character that's never gonna go away. So, this is where I stop talking about ViA. I'm not even gonna go into detail on his skills this time. I mean, what is there to say anyways? It's Shipuga and Rekoha. What he can do in the air, whoop-de-doo. I'm not gonna pull for him out of principle anyways. In conclusion then, you know how in the intro ViA says, "Yo, playa." Well, how about, "Yo, ViA, can you stop engaging in incest? Thanks." It wouldn't have even gotten this bad if they had just held off from revealing that they're siblings. Or ideally, revealed that they're not related. They had one job and they completely blew it. So, how about some obscure Rockman games, eh? First up, we have a tip from Chomp_0 from Get Me Off the Moon. On March 5th, Get Me Off the Moon uploaded an entire long play of Rockman Dash Great Adventure on 5 Islands that was originally recorded by the user Suzukaze. However, this was a very old long play and the footage may have gotten lost forever if it weren't for the efforts of Dash Troxon, Ava, and Rockman Cosmo. Sorry if I mispronounced any names. They were able to preserve the long play footage and put it all together into one 4-hour and 45-minute video for everyone to check out. For those not in the loop, the YouTube video description for the long play says that Rockman Dash Great Adventure on 5 Islands is a Japan-only mobile phone game that was released on the now defunct iMode internet service in 2008. It was released in 5 parts, each part adding a new island for Rock to explore. The game features gameplay and graphics that match the other games in the Rockman Dash and Mega Man Legends series, and features a colorful cast of returning characters to meet over the course of the game. And yes, that's correct, as we reported on last year, at the tail end of 2021, the iMode internet service for these old Japanese mobile phones finally went down. And with it, many mobile games from that era has been lost to the sands of time. Thankfully, there are efforts from many users trying to preserve these old games, and in regards to Rockman Dash Great Adventure on 5 Islands itself, plus the Rockman EXE Legend of Network and Phantom of Network games, which were also on the iMode service, we do have a passionate group of fans led by Rockman Cosmo trying to preserve Rockman Dash Great Adventure on 5 Islands, with the end goal of perhaps being able to emulate this game one day and having everyone be able to play. It's not an easy task, however, because getting any data off these old Japanese mobile phones have proven to be quite the challenge. And that's assuming you find somebody who has the game on their phone and has all the downloadable content installed as well. Thankfully, as we reported on last year, they did indeed secure a phone with the game on it. So now it's just a matter of safely extracting the data and making it playable somehow. We're still awaiting updates on that front, but for now, check out Get Me Off the Moon's YouTube page to see the long play for yourself. That includes the entire game, albeit in Japanese, but if you want to watch an English dub, a decade ago now, Get Me Off the Moon did do their own fan dub for the Rockman Dash Great Adventure on 5 Islands game. Complete with English text so you can actually understand what the characters are saying. There's quite a bit of dialogue in this game, so it definitely helps a lot. As always, I will leave a link to the long play and the English fan dub in the description below. If you are a Mega Man Legends fan or you're just interested in obscure stuff, this is 100% worth checking out. Especially now that if it weren't for the fans, this game would be lost media. In other preservation news, thanks to user Sylvie, A collection of very weird and obscure PC Rockman games, which by the way were officially licensed by Capcom somehow, have now been uploaded to the Internet Archive. You can find the download links to each one on Rockman Corner's article, which I'll leave a link of my own in the description below for that. And here's the list of games available. From the top, Rockman X Math Whirlwind. It's a Mega Man X edutainment game, what can you say? Rockman IQ Whirlwind, meanwhile, features a series of puzzle games with the goal of improving your IQ. Well, maybe. And hey, the title of this one sounds familiar. Rockman Dash Great Adventure to Save the World. As you can guess, this is a Mega Man Legends type game that's actually an educational 3D platformer. And from what I remember, this one is going to look very janky. Getting out of the realm of the edutainment games, however, we have Rockman 1-6 Collection, which despite the box art, which features Mega Man X5 characters, this is actually just another Mega Man 1-6 NES collection. The precursor to Mega Man Legacy Collection 1, I guess you could say. Oh, Ubisoft, you can't even get the series right. Next is Rockman's Gold Empire. This one is described as a hybrid of Monopoly and SimCity with a 3D perspective, all set in the classic series universe, that was published in Taiwan by Strawberry Software. This time around, Rockman is trying to stop Dr. Wily from turning all the money in the world into pure energy to destroy the world. I wonder if Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants is a robot master in this one. Now with Gold Empire, Rockman Corner notes that the cutscene.avi files were corrupted, which is a big shame. However, judging by the comments section of the article, the fans may have already fixed this by now, but I'm not 100% sure, so definitely download it for yourself and see if you can get it to work. And last but not least, we have the more well-known Rockman Strategy, which like a lot of these games was only published in Taiwan for Windows computers. Strategy being published by Dream Come True. Obviously from the title, this is a strategy RPG Mega Man game, which is pretty nifty on its own. You don't see strategy RPGs too often in this franchise, except for like Mega Man Battle Network 5's Liberation missions, or the occasional crossover like the Project Cross Zone games. The story of Rockman Strategy goes that a new threat from space is threatening Rockman's world. You will need all the help you can, from friend to foe, to put an end to Dr. Wily's biggest plan yet. Now I'll be honest, aside from maybe Rockman Strategy, all these games aren't going to be masterpieces. They're officially licensed, but they're kind of bootleggy in design and how it looks. Still, it's super awesome all the same just to have these archived for anyone to check out in the future. And more importantly, these have been wiped of any malware or viruses, so you don't have to worry about that. So thank you Sylvie for doing all of that. If you want to learn more about these, check out Rockman Corner's article and the write-up by the Mechanical Maniacs that goes into detail on all these Asian-only games. In the merchandising department, this came out of nowhere, but Capcom has their own Amazon.com store now, and it features a bunch of t-shirts and hoodies with stuff like the Capcom logos, and you have different franchise stuff like Street Fighter, Devil May Cry, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, and of course Mega Man. Although for Mega Man they only have one design, and then it's just a bunch of different types of t-shirts and hoodies. To be fair, it's not a bad design. It's based on that little look into Mega Man's internals that we've seen in various different pieces of official artwork by now. The downside is these do not come cheap at all. The t-shirts go for $26 US, the long sleeve shirts for $30 US, sweatshirts for $43, and hoodies for $47. Not the most expensive hoodies I've seen, but definitely the t-shirts are kind of pushing it. I hope they're high quality for that money. Maybe I'll pick one up and let you guys know what I think. But anyway, if you're interested in these shirts at all, I will have an Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Just remember that as an Amazon affiliate, the channel does get a small kickback for your purchase at no additional cost to you. assuming you use our affiliate link, that is. And if you do, thank you for the support. I think it is a neat idea that Capcom is doing their own Amazon store thing now. I just hope they add more designs, especially for that Mega Man section. It needs more. Oh, and conspiracy theory time. The order in which Capcom lists all these franchises almost reads like a priority list from best to worst. You have Monster Hunter at the top, that's their biggest franchise right now. Resident Evil is the other big one. And then from there you go Street Fighter, yeah, you can say that's the third best. Then Devil May Cry and Mega Man, unfortunately, on the bottom. Well, at least you're honest, Capcom. I'm just joking though. Or am I? Alright, let's end off with some manga. As always, Rockman-chan and Rockman-san have got a new chapter, so let's take a look. Rockman-san, chapter 21, introduces Plant Man and Hornet Man. Apparently, they're both pretty popular, especially together, which actually makes a lot of sense from a nature point of view. Meanwhile, in Rockman-chan, chapter 18, part 1, the vacation to France is over, and we have the return of Dr. Cossack, Kalinka, and Proto Man. I love how everybody tries to cosplay as Proto Man. Even Rush joins in on the fun. That's hilarious. And lastly, Rockman-san, chapter 22, sees the gang head to the National Museum, where apparently Blade Man is part of the exhibit. Looking sharp, my man. And finally, to wrap up our mega news for today, we have a couple of manga fan translations. Azure Wind Productions is back at it again, co-releasing a translation of the Rockman EXE Operate Shooting Star for Coma manga, in collaboration with Espresso Scans. This one was originally featured on the Capcom official website at the end of 2019 to promote the Rockman EXE Operate Shooting Star game. And now, thanks to the fans, we can read it in English. And we didn't forget about you Star Force fans, by the way. Here's a new English translation of the Ryuusei no Rockman 3 manga that has been released by Midnight W. And also the quote tiniest bit in collaboration with Espresso Scans too. Coincidentally, this is one of the 3 featured mangas in the new Rockman Works SSR compilation that just came out in February. So the timing is just right to check it out. And hey, there's never a bad time for a manga fan translation and some Mega Man Star Force goodness. We may have unfortunately never gotten a Star Force 3 anime, but at least we got a manga, albeit a short one. I've always thought that if the anime was allowed to continue to Star Force 3, that it would have been freaking amazing. But I guess I'll just have to settle for this manga to give me a taste of what could have been. Thank you so much to all of the fan translators out there. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for today's Mega News Roundup. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to ShadowRockZX for all things Mega Man. And for your written editorials, news, and all that stuff, including videos like this one, check out the mmnetwork.com. I hear that there's some new content being cooked up for the site, so definitely keep an eye on it. As for us, if you like the content and you like to support us, we do have the channel membership program here on YouTube, where you can pledge for as little as $1 a month for some perks. With that in mind, thank you so much to all of our ShadowRockZX channel members, including SA class supporter Crimson QS, and GA class supporters LML123, Vince Crystals, Adrian Cauldron, Chaos Bankai, Rico Syndrome, and Austin Buford. Thank you very much, everyone, and I will see you this Wednesday for the usual Rockman X dive stream, as well as all of our other streaming shenanigans. And hopefully Mega News will be back once again next week too. Until then, rock on everybody, keep your siblings safe, and have a great time zone.